Hi, my name's Paul Glasser, and I'll be discussing Pixton as my educational technology. The lesson plan that I selected is called A Revolution Has Begun, and it's about helping students understand the French Revolution by writing newspaper reports as if it were France in 1789. The titles and articles will correlate with the studies that the students do of the French Revolution. And this uh, lesson appealed to me because I used to be a newspaper reporter and I also love French history. So the lesson begins with an explanation of the basics of newspaper journalism as well as the note taking process. From there, students begin conducting research about their stories related to the French Revolution and write a draft of their article. Next, students interview each other to learn about bias, whether that's based on gender, social class, or political affiliation. Then, students present their stories to the class, and the audience may ask questions or comment. Finally, the newspaper is finalized using a template and uploaded to a private or secure forum like Google Classrooms, Canvas, or Moodle for parents and other students to comment on and discuss. I thought it would be a great idea to add Pixton as a tool for this assignment because, excuse me, it would add a visual element to what's basically a writing assignment. So playing on those universal design tools, it would open up the options for students to express their understanding and their mastery. So Pixton would give students the opportunity to create political cartoons about the French Revolution of 1789 that accompany the stories that other students are writing on. It could be written in place of, or created in place of a written story, or in addition to a written article. In other words, they could write an article and then do a cartoon as well. Pixton has a number of advantages to it. Like I said, it gives students another way to express their understanding. As we'll see here in a minute, there's also an easy to use basic option, which includes lots of different backgrounds and characters for students to pick from. Um, on the negative side of things, there's a 15-day free trial. Yeah, 15-day free treat. Excuse me, 15-day free trial, and then after that you have to pay for the service. But it's quite affordable. It's only $8 a month for 25 students, and it goes up to only $23 a month for 100 students. So quite reasonable if you have some funds available from your school for a program like this. In addition, there's no real freestyle creative ability. In other words, you're using pre-constructed elements from Pixton, as we'll see here in a minute, and you can't really create anything from scratch. So student creativity would be limited in a certain amount. As I mentioned, I think Pixton is important because it expands on several of the UDL standards, especially 7.1, optimizing individual choice and autonomy. Um, those standards talk about how it's important to give students the option to give the students an option for the tools they use to gather information or produce information, and then also gives them flexibility in the context or content used for practicing and assessing skills. So obviously, for students who prefer to draw or have a more artistic flair instead of write, this would be a great option for them. And then Pixton could also be used, not necessarily inherent to Pixton, but in the context of this assignment, I think Pixton would be a great option for fostering collaboration community, which is standard 8.3 under UDL. So the newspaper could be entirely student driven, with a student being selected as the managing editor who's in charge of it all. There could be sort of assignment teams where reporters would write a story and they would work together with a staff artist who does an illustration or a political cartoon that goes along with the story. And then the editor would have final oversight and be responsible for quality control and that sort of things. So right now, in its original form, the assignment was sort of a very individualistic, um, independent sort of assignment. But if you add in Pixton, it'd be a great way to have students working in pairs or maybe small groups, and then have an editor or maybe a couple editors, depending on how big the class is and how big the newspaper is going to be in terms of managing assignments and overseeing final quality. So let's give Pixton a try here. So first, you just say you want to create a comic. They give you several different options. There's just a strip, or you can do a storyboard, or a graphic novel, which is obviously got more complex options for layout and design. We'll just do a basic comic strip, and then here you've got two choices, either the basic setup or the advanced, which gives you more control and more choice. For now, we'll just go with the basic. And it comes with a bunch of different backgrounds. Palace would be good for talking about the French Revolution. Let's go with the throne room. And then it gives you an option of how many characters you want to pick. Let's go with 3. So let's go with a king, that's natural, a queen for the French Revolution, and some sort of peasant or servant girl there. Runs on Flash, so you got to allow that. Let's give it a title. And then you can select your characters. It's got a bunch of preset poses. So let's have the royalty be scared. And if you need to, you can flip it horizontally back and forth. And then they've got facial expressions as well. Quite a few here to pick from. Let's go with that. Let's pick another one. That one doesn't look very good. There we go. And then we can flip it horizontally. Let's pick something interesting for the servant girl. And then you can adjust the thought bubbles, the word bubbles as well. The thing I took French in high school and college. Change her expression. Looks a little too happy to be a frightened queen. There we go. That looks pretty appropriate. And then you can add another panel. and we could repeat that process for the 3 panels that we've got. So for Pixton,